Bloodhounds, helicopters, and hundreds of law enforcement personnel hunting for two murderers now spending their sixth night on the run. ABC's Gio Benitez is on the scene of the prison break with the latest clues as investigators question whether a female prison employee agreed to help the convicted killers get away.
Bloodhounds did pick up a scent this morning, and they were pursuing a scent.
It's been 6 days since convicted killers Richard Matt and David Sweat escaped from Clinton Correctional Prison in upstate New York. But as confident as Governor Cuomo may have sounded, the scent could well be growing cold.
They could be literally anywhere. We're leaving no stone unturned.
Tonight, an entire town cordoned off, roadblocks, police checking every car, only residents allowed in. More than 500 officers now involved in this massive manhunt, focusing on an area just miles from the prison. Schools today shut down.
At this time, we are remaining in the area until we have conducted a thorough search. We're looking underneath every rock, behind every tree, and inside every structure until we catch these two.
Investigators are searching these dense woods by ground and by air, launching helicopters to get that critical bird's eye view, all to find those prisoners. Miles and miles of dark forest, the perfect hiding place. They are the first prisoners to escape from the maximum security unit of this prison in over 100 years. The two men each serving life terms for murder.
Be on the lookout for two escapees from Clinton County Corrections Facility.
It all began last Saturday morning. Officials say the men were last seen in their adjoining cells at 10:30 p.m. Friday night for bed check and reported missing at bed check the following morning at 5:30 a.m., leaving this note behind reading, "Have a nice day." In their empty beds, clothing was arranged to make it look like someone was sleeping. Police say Sweat and Matt used power tools to drill through a wall and work their way down 4 stories, shimming through 24-inch pipes. After climbing through a series of catwalks and pipes, they walked 300 to 400 yards down a tunnel, coming to a manhole they sawed open with their tools.
What is the most troubling fact is they needed power tools to do what they actually did. They were heard. They had to be heard.
The manhole where the two men surfaced, as seen on Google Earth, was only 1 block from the prison walls. Just after 12:30 a.m., a local resident tells us he saw the two convicts in his backyard.
So what did you say? You immediately yelled something at him.
Well, I first came around the side of the building of my house, and I saw the shadow running away from it. So I went around to see who they were, because I want to know who was in my backyard. So I go look at them, and I see him. I ask him, "What the hell are you doing in my yard? Get the hell out of here." And he was like, "Sorry, I didn't know where I was. I'm on the wrong street."
Now, once you know who it was that you saw, what do you think?
Lucky to be alive, man. Like, they could have done anything. Like, they could have jacked my car, and, you know, you never know. I mean, they're criminals, so.
I was just in shock. I couldn't believe it.
Police did not begin their search until a full 5 hours later, giving David Sweat and Richard Matt a critical head start.
During those 5 hours, if in fact they left the area, law enforcement was then basically spinning their wheels. They were looking for two people that were not in the area anymore. And that's the whole key in giving yourself a lead.
Just hours after the break, New York Governor Andrew Cuomo came to the prison to retrace the two men's escape route.
Must have kept you awake with all that cutting, huh? When you look at how it was done, it was extraordinary. I mean, we went through the tunnels. You look at the precision of the operation. It was truly extraordinary and unusual and almost impossible to duplicate. But we want to find out exactly what happened. And one of the big questions is, where did the tools come from?
Construction work was being done at the inmates' cell block at the Clinton Correctional Facility, but no missing tools have been reported. Sources tell us investigators have questioned Joyce Tilly Mitchell, a 51-year-old prison employee, about her possible involvement.
She was befriended, or she befriended the inmates and may have had some sort of role in assisting them.
Sources say in the past year, prison officials investigated whether Mitchell, who supervises the prison's tailor shop, had a relationship with one of the escapees, but concluded there was not enough evidence. But sources say police are now investigating whether she had agreed to meet the prisoners to drive a getaway car, but instead checked herself into a hospital complaining of a panic attack.
If you believe the Joyce Mitchell version of this case, where she was supposed to be the getaway driver, the presumption would be they popped their head out of the manhole cover within, sight of the prison, and no Joyce, no car. And so at that point, they're sort of lost. How are they going to get out of the area?
But her son came to her defense, speaking to NBC News.
She is not the kind of person that's going to risk her life or other people's lives to let these guys escape from prison.
One of the escapees' sons also speaking out, claiming he does not fear his father.
I don't think he's coming here or targeting me at all. I mean, with all these news cars here, would you come here?
But for others who knew Richard Matt well, a different story.
He's extremely dangerous.
A former accomplice of Richard Matt, who testified against him for torturing and killing his boss in 1997. The accomplice asking not to be shown on camera as he fears he'll be targeted.
He's very evil. I've seen what he can do.
Both men are serving life terms for murder. Richard Matt for kidnapping and killing his former boss. David Sweat for killing Sheriff's Deputy Kevin Tarsia. For his fiancée, the escape has been traumatic.
I was pretty much in shock when I heard that David Sweat had escaped from state prison, maximum security. It was very shocking. It brought back all the memories and all the thoughts and the terrible, horrific torture that they have inflicted on Kevin.
These guys are dangerous. These guys are two guys that are as dangerous as you're going to get.
Martin Horn is a former commissioner of the New York City Department of Correction, an expert on what happens inside prisons.
It's entirely possible over the years these guys have been in prison that they worked on some sort of a maintenance detail, because prisons like Clinton use the prisoners to help to maintain the prison, everything from painting the walls to fixing the leaks to rewiring an electrical socket. And so they may well have actually been in the pipe chase area that everybody seems to be so fascinated with.
The prison's isolation giving it the nickname Little Siberia. Once home to famous inmates like Lucky Luciano and Tupac Shakur. It is located just 20 miles from the Canadian border, where authorities are also on the lookout.
So they should stop them at the border, so no way of getting worried more than we have to.
In fact, police are following up on over 600 tips from as far away as Philadelphia.
Look, they could either be 4 miles from the prison, or they could be in Mexico. You just don't know.
For one convict's mom, there's only one place she says he should be.
Back in prison before you get hurt. I love you, and get back where you belong.
For Nightline, I'm Gio Benitez in Dannemora, New York.